Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise. Hey, now they put up a little notice that says your mic is muted. It's like, yes. So now it's not. Anyway, thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. I am so sorry about having to cancel the show last minute last week. My internet was being beyond jinky and it kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And I just didn't want to take the chance to do the show and just having it be, like a 10-minute thing and it dropping and I can't get back in. Anyway, so we, for the last couple of episodes, have been talking about reptilians and underground bases. And so I'm going to do a little bit of review and then move on to the new material. And so basically where this presentation is coming from is that in contemporary UFO circles, there is this narrative that suggests that reptilians live in underground bases. Or there are three basic tenets: that reptilians live in underground bases, that they have advanced technology, including genetic engineering, and their goal is to control the world via the New World Order. And so some of the things that we talked about was there is this concurrence of myth from around the world. They tell very similar stories. And to me, this suggests, based on the geography of these stories, that there is some level of truth about them. And so we started off talking about the underworld. So the first episode, we talked about this whole UFO phenomena and about the global myth. And then the last show, I talked about the underworld, which, on one level, it is the home of the dead. It's where in antiquity, when you died, you went to. It is identified that this underworld is located very deep within the earth. According to Gilgamesh, 7 leagues into the earth. And a number of other myths suggest that there are a number of levels. The primary number that you find is that there are 7. And in Indian mythology, they suggest that the Nagaloka, the serpent people, live in the very bow of this location. And so that's where we left off. And so this is actually one of my favorite parts of the presentation, talking about the reptilians in general. So let's see if I can make this work. Okay, so let's talk reptilians. Because, they're reptilians. Okay, so what I'm going to do is talk about, well, actually, let me back up. Let me back up one slide before we go there. So here's a little bit of background of what myths suggest about what we contemporarily call the reptilians. And so in the Rita vernacular, in the Dr. Rita vernacular, I refer to them as the fertility gods, because when you look at their characteristics, not their physical characteristics, but more how they present themselves, they are always associated with water. They are often identified as being mischievous. And not that they're mischievous as in pulling pranks, but they take their own counsel and do things that they feel they should be doing, even if it's in disagreement with the other gods. They are tied to the creation and education of humanity. And when they are depicted in art, they are often depicted as being a half man, half fish, or half snake. So that's how they're depicted. And in the global narrative, and in my book, E.T. Chronicles, what Myth and Legends has to say about human origins, which I always love for you to buy, which is on Amazon, I really talk about the different gods and their positions and the story. But according to this global narrative, the fertility gods were here on the earth first. And they had a battle with the Caucasian sky gods and were sent into the depths of the earth, aka the underground bases where they have lived ever since. So when you start looking from a visual perspective of these fertility gods, so this is an example that you find in coming out of Greece. And so this is part of the battle of the fertility gods having the battle with the sky gods. And one of the figures on there with the snake legs is Kronos, who was in charge of the earth prior to his battle with Zeus. But as you can see, he has snake legs. And the other fertility god next to him, other than having great buns, has snake legs too. You know, and as I've said, to me, if I find something in Greek, but I find it also in Sumerian, okay, whatever. It's when I start finding it in different places around the world. And so these are representations, again, of the fertility god. One is Quetzalcoatl, the one on the left, and the other one is Kukulkan, which is Mayan. But again, as you can see, they have a human face and a serpent-y kind of body. You know, I talked about the Sumerians. And so if anyone has followed any of the stories that come out of Sumeria, one of the chief deities is called Enki. And Enki is always tied to the watery deep. And so the image on the left is the traditional representation of Enki. And you can see coming off of his shoulders are those two streams. And in the streams are these little fish that identify him as being tied to water. But on the right-hand side is an even older representation of Enki, and rare representation. And he is shown in his serpent form with the upper half of a human and the lower half of his body being a snake. In Egypt, we have Apep, who this representation, he obviously is a serpent. But if you watch Stargate, this is how they represent Apep in that show, where he has a serpent head, you know, and a human body. You know, which I think reflects kind of that cosmology that we're talking about. When we start moving to the east, on the left-hand side are the Nagas. They're the ones that live in Nagaloka, the realm of the serpent people. Excuse me. And on the right, so that was India on the left. And on the right, we have Fuxi and Muwa, who are identified as, well, Muwa in particular is identified with the creation of humanity, making people out of mud. But they were also responsible for the education of humanity. Continuing, so these two images we have on the left-hand side, a representation of the gods of the Dogon, and they were called Nomo. And there were 8 Nomo that came on this ship as a progenitor god. Again, very long story. E.T. chronicles what myth and legends have to say about humanity. And on the right is another Sumerian image that was described by the Babylonian priest Berosus. And they're the fish-looking people, but they're people. And they were called the Onas, and they gave education to humanity. But it's not just but you find it even more. And so it wasn't just the male deities. These are representations of what in Greek culture, it would be Gaia, the Earth Mother. And the parallel Earth Mother on the left is Aztec, and that's a representation of Ciclalique. That's a mouthful thing. And on the right is Tiamat, who was defeated, and the earth was transformed from her body. But even in Christian art, we find similar representations. And so obviously, this is The Temptation of Man by Michelangelo, which is much more contemporary than Sumerian art. But in this representation, we find the devil with the upper body of a human and the lower part of his body as a serpent with serpent legs. Okay. And where am I time-wise? Okay, so I'm going to keep going just a little bit more. So what if the depiction of the upper half of a man and the lower half of a snake was a misinterpretation of oral traditions? So take a moment and think about this for a second. We have been telling stories for eons, and these stories predate visual depictions of the gods or any other representations. We didn't start, I mean, there are the caves in Laxo, which are, 35, 40,000 years ago, and they just had animals and little stick figures. But we really didn't come into, and I'm going to say art, until much later than that. And so what if these, especially like the Sumerian pieces or some of the earliest heavy duty depictions, what if they took an oral representation of this half man, half snake and made it look that way? But what if they were actually talking about what we would refer to as reptilians? So when we go further back in time, we find depictions like this. So these are little sculptures, and the figurines depict snake or reptile-headed humanoids, and they were found in cemeteries in the vicinity of Ur, Iraq, which is Babylon area. And these figures date back to 4,000 to 6,000 BC. 4,000 to 6,000 BC. We've also find kind of similar figures called Nomli figures. They were found in Sierra Leone in northern Africa, and they depict a human body with a lizard head. And then in Japan, we find this enigmatic figure that was in a temple in Japan, and this was the oldest temple in Japan. And what's interesting is that this figure was once prominently displayed inside the temple, and it has been taken off display. So we're going to leave this here right now, but this is like my favorite part. But next time, we are going to be talking about what about the other claims in these bases for the use of genetic engineering. So that's going to be next week's topic, genetic engineering in the underground bases. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that. Let me get myself back here. Hey, I'm back. I'm really enjoying this. And, you guys, if there are topics that you would like for me to talk about, reach out to me, send me a message on Facebook or YouTube, or drop me an email, because I would love to kind of create a list and share those topics with you. So anyway, before I say hi to everybody, and there's like a gajillion messages, which I love, if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. Drop me a note and we can set up a time. If you're listening to this show in a recorded format and you want to join in and get a free on-air psychic reading, please, the easiest place to go is my YouTube channel by going to Just Energy Radio. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio on YouTube, and that will allow you to get into the chat area. Okay, so I have added one other thing here, and I don't know. Hopefully you guys are going to be cool with this. And so I have created a little QR code so that if you're enjoying these presentations, if you get a reading that is, you feel like you really got a lot of value out of it, I would really appreciate it if you'd leave me a little something, something, and you can scan the QR code and leave something in the tip jar, or you can go to soulhealer.com/live and it'll take you to the same page and you can leave something in the tip jar because you love me and you want to leave me a little something, something, right? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I'm going, God, there were already a bunch of messages in here when I first logged in, and now there's like a thing of 52. Okay, so I am going to highly suggest, since there's a lot of conversation going on, that if you want a reading, I'm going to try to catch everybody, but if you want a reading, please use all caps, or if you want to communicate with me, use all caps so that I can separate out. This is communication to me versus you guys are all visiting. I love that you visit. My YouTube group has gotten really big, and I love that you're becoming family. But I don't need to read all your stuff. Just saying. I mean, even though I do love you all. So I'm going to say hi to people, and when I hit where somebody wants to get a reading, I'm going to stop there. If you've already posted that you would like a reading, just give me some time to scroll down because there's a lot of commentary. Okay, so Marco upvoted for something. I'm guessing he's upvoting for my really good hair today. I don't know. And Veronica's here. Hey, Veronica. Oh, she said, what's up? Let's see. Marco, Veronica. Hey, Don. How are you doing? And Amy is here. Hey, Amy. Nice seeing you. RLCC. Hi. How's it going? Okay. Ooh, Don is the first one out off the bench. All right, Don would like a reading number 3. All right, Don. All right, Don, this is your card for today. Okay, so this is not really the right word to put here, but I'm not getting anything like right at the moment to say. But I'm just sensing, and again, this word is not the right word, some frustration in your space. And I feel like the frustration is you're not feeling like you're being heard, and you keep reaching out, but it's not, it's like it's falling on deaf ears. There's part of me that wants you to maybe take a step back and just allow things to happen instead of trying to force things to happen. But I have to tell you, lately, it's like, can I say that people suck and the world sucks, and you try to do something and they don't ever call you back, and so you're just like have to be up people's butts. So I'm a little conflicted with that because that's kind of the energy right now on the planet. But if it's frustrating you, then maybe you should just kind of take a break from it. I don't know, Don, I don't really have a good answer for you right now because I had a very frustrating on the phone dealing with stupid people day to day. So Eric's here. Hey, Eric. All right, Veronica. All right, Master Players Radio and Television. Hey, how's it going? Veronica says, it was such a bummer last week. It was a bummer for me. Okay. Veronica says, I have nice hair. That's always good. Hi, Rosie B. Thanks for coming to the show today. You look like you're a new person, so welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show. All right, Master Plays Radio and Television. Did you give me a reading in the last show? I just had another power outage after I was back online. I mean, if it came up during the show, unless it was like really late, then I'm sure I did because I don't skip over people. So um yeah. So if you want a reading today, go ahead and post that below. All right. Hey Ricky, how are you doing? Thanks for coming to the show. Hi Julie, nice seeing you. Hi Cindy, nice seeing you too. And Julie says the Leviathan from the Bible. But I'm not sure that the Leviathan had human characteristics, or did it have a human face? Let me know that. I mean, I know the term and I know it was like kind of a serpenty thing, but that's really all I know. All right. So Jerry says, I'm Jerry66 in Delaware. I ghostwrite for Star Trek Design Mars Rovers 2004. I found people and animals on Mars. See Jerry Lynn Mars. I created Stargate 1987. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Jerry. Okay. So Jerry says Mars had small living dragons and Naga people 6 inches to 5 feet tall. Okay, so everybody's like Trekkie. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this story because it was really funny. So I was at the supermarket and this guy had a T-shirt on that says Star Wars fan, except it had an Enterprise on it. And you really kind of had to like be like a little in the know to get that joke. I thought it was hysterical. Okay. All right. Don says, do you know that in some cities that have been dug up in India, the people or skeletons found there are like they have been hit with a nuclear bomb burnt into the ground? Well, I mean, and that is the speculation for, of course, like I want to say Nag Hammadi, but that's like Egyptian or not Egyptian, Israeli. I know what you're talking about, and it's not just the bodies. The stones look like they're kind of melted. I mean, there is definitely something going on in that location, and from what I understand, there's also radiation there. Is it Mohenjo-daro? Is that the right name? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. RLCC would like a reading. So RLCC, you didn't give me a number, so you're going to get a Dr. Rita number, and the number I'm getting for you is 2. So you're going to get a 2 from me today. Okay. Oh, nice card. All right, and that's your card for today. So RLCC, I feel like there is, and I'm going to say a new project. There's something new that you're wanting to begin, pursue. And where I'm really seeing it is that I feel like you're wanting to put energy in this thing, but I'm going to say afraid. There's hesitancy that you're not sure if it's going to be successful or whatever. And what I have found personally is that if you're being led, if you're being guided to go do something, when you don't listen and don't just say, okay, I'm afraid, and then go forward with it, then everything else in your life backs up because that one thing is backed up. So don't be afraid of whatever it is. Take one little step to stick your toe in the water and see how it feels, because you don't have to dive in with your whole body. You can do one step at a time and just keep on track of what's going on. So I hope that does make sense to you. And if it does, and it resonates with you, if you could leave me a note below, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so Julie would like a reading, and she would like a number 3. Okay, and there's your card for today. Okay, so I just get the impression that there's, and I'm going to say, a lot going on around you. I'm feeling like the energy feels kind of heavy and maybe a bit toxic to you. Um, but the lesson, what I'm supposed to be sharing with you, is for you to just acknowledge, okay, this is what's going on around me. And what do I need to do in order to keep my energy high, not get it all stuck and invested in the crap that's going on around you, so that you can sail with them? Because I'm feeling like separating yourself from these people or the situation is not being productive. But where you're going to be able to navigate this whole thing is by keeping your energy high, keeping yourself a little bit in that observer mode, so you can really act and react from a very conscious level, as opposed to just being moved around and sucked around at the whim of everything else going on around you, because I feel like it tends to just drag you down versus you holding and owning your own space. So let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, so Miss Amy would like a reading today, and she would like number 3. And again, everyone, if you are liking the reading, if you could go to my little tip jar, soulhealer.com/live, and leave me a little something, something, or you can use this QR code here on the screen while I am shuffling for Amy. I just would really appreciate you all doing that. Okay. All right, Amy, let's see what we got going on. All right, Amy, so this is your card for today. Okay, so Amy, I'm just going to be like straight here. I just feel like you're kind of ruminating about something that's kind of dumb. I mean, I feel like it was kind of an issue, but getting your energy stuck there is kind of a waste of your time and energy, and so maybe it would be a better use of your time and energy for you to use your tools, or to reframe the situation to see, what did you need to learn out of it? What do you need to do? What do you need to change in order to not feel snippy about it? And then just let it go. I mean, because it just seems like kind of a non-issue-y thing to be hung up on. So let it go. Okay. All right, let's see. So Cindy says, very interesting. I definitely enjoyed this. Much love, Dr. Rita. Well, you're so welcome, Cindy. And again, if there's a topic, you guys, I mean, within reason here, that you would like for me to talk about, I would love to add that to the list, because sometimes I'm like, all right, what am I going to talk about? So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Marco says, I can tip Rita 40%. Yeah, you can go to here. Oh, add to stage right there. And you can use that, or you can go to soulhealer.com/live. You know, while you're there, you can buy a book, you can schedule a session, you can check out all the articles and videos I have on my site, and leave me a little something, something. So anyway, okay, so where was I? I totally lost my place. Sorry, everybody. Okay, that's where I was. All right, so Marco said he can give me a tip. Well, you know, Marco, I don't have like a button for $1 million, but you can just hit the button a lot of times and then send me $1 million. Okay. So Dawn says, thank you. That's exactly what's been going on. All of my job searches. Love Dawn. Dawn, love you back. Love you more. Okay, Master Player wants a reading. He says, give me number 2. You are going to get number 2. And you guys, capital letters, capitals. All right, Master Player, here's your card for today. All right. Okay, so this seems very random. So they're suggesting to me that you get like a notepad, a notebook, something. I feel like, and you know, and it's not just you, so I'm not like suggesting that you're old or anything like that. But I feel like you've been forgetting things, or things are slipping your mind. I mean, not like you have Alzheimer's or anything. And this is kind of for everybody. It's like the energy on the planet has been really kind of crappy. And you are not the only one that is being affected, but I feel like it's frustrating to you. So I would like to suggest, as a coping mechanism, to write stuff down. I put everything in my phone. I swear to God, if there's something that I need to do or want to do, and not just appointments, like tomorrow, my house project is to caulk, and I made a list of all the places that I need to caulk because I'm mostly done, but there's a couple of spots that I've missed that I keep overlooking while I'm working because it just leaves my mind. And so I think that'll help you kind of move through this, whatever this is, the new normal. It's the new normal. Okay, let's see. Otto, reading number 2. Okay, you're going to get reading number 2. Where you been? Okay. Uh-oh, mask card. But this was right behind it. So this is what all right, so this is the card I'm going to read. But you're having a challenge getting here. So that's kind of the angle. Well, I feel like everything that I just said kind of relates to you. I mean, I feel like that things have just been challenging for you, and you just want everybody to get along, and you want like a kumbaya kind of thing happening, and it's not. And I feel like it is kind of frustrating to you. And I just feel like because you're so sensitive, it just has been hard. My best suggestion is for you to just breathe, do some tapping, meditate, do yoga, do those kind of things that will help bring you back and bring you more clarity. And the more things that you do that are self-loving to yourself will also help. And I'm going to say that happy meter for you. Um, I hope that helps. All right. So Debbie wants a reading that is if I get to everyone else first. It's like, girl, you're next in line, which means you get a reading next. Ha ha ha. Because I am not sure I'm going to get to the end of this list. And she would like a number 2. Okay, Debbie. Bam. That's your card for today. So the words that I'm hearing is make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. I mean, it's interesting because I just feel like you just want to rest and you just want to relax and you just want to do things in your own time, but you're not really having a choice in doing that. It's always in somebody else's time, which is annoying to you. Okay, interesting little shift here. And what they're communicating to me to communicate to you is you really need to pat yourself on the back for being able to get through all of this and get the stuff done that needs to get done, and just doing it, because you are. A bit maybe cranky, but you're getting it done. And I feel like with everything going on, just having the chutzpah to do it and not just want to procrastinate and not do anything, which is really the energy of this that I'm getting is, I'd rather just lay around and read a book. Like that would be more satisfying to my soul. But you're not. But I also feel like the things that you're working on are things that need to get worked on and have to get worked on. And so just pat yourself on the back for allowing yourself to use your third chakra and kind of muddle through all of this. I'm kind of feeling a little bit of a pattern here. And again, I feel like everybody's being affected by the energy right now. So so if you're making it through day to day, pat yourself on the back, do little things that you can to love yourself and nurture yourself just that much more. Okay, so Cindy would like a reading number 3. I don't know how many it did. Okay. All right, Cindy, this is your card for today. So Cindy, I don't know if the feeling that you're having right now is that you're feeling stuck or you're not really moving forward. And if that's your, like, kind of how you're viewing yourself in your life, I want to share something different, or I want to shift the focus on that. I feel like you have, potentially unconsciously taken a step back. I feel like you're in observer mode. I feel like you see different choices in front of you, and you are really working on, I'm going to say, feeling into the energy and making a more conscious choice. But I also feel like you're not just making a snap decision to go do this, that you are you're allowing the universe to lead you forward. And so if you're feeling stuck, if that's your inner vibe, girl, just stop that, because you're processing on a very deep level, and just really go with the feelings. Allow your feelings to move you forward. Okay? All right. So Veronica, number 3. Veronica. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's the card that came up for you. Interesting. So, Veronica, what I want to say is I'm feeling like your energy is seeming, and I have to like make this be very local in time, seeming pretty grounded today. I feel like you are not interested in making any sudden moves. I feel like you have been really paying attention to what's going on in your inner world and allowing that to guide you, or at least really trying hard to allow that to guide you. So good job on that. And my biggest thing to you is, girl, just keep breathing and being honest with yourself. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Okay. And again, if I've given you a reading, if it makes sense to you, if if it resonates with you, I would really love to hear your feedback. Ziggy, you made it. Hey, Ziggy from Florida. Okay, so Master Player Radio and Television, just want to let you know that you are on ERRT Radio YouTube right now. Hi, everybody on EERT Radio YouTube. Okay, so I have to, all right, so hang on, everybody, 1 second. Okay, so Master Player Radio and Television, this is like and I'm not bitching, but I need to ask a question, because this is like the 4th or 5th request for a reading that has come from either Master Player Radio and Television or ERTT Radio. And so if these are people asking for readings, I don't know. If these are individual people asking for readings, and I really like to have names. So if you could just clear that up for me, because I don't want to just keep like blowing past them going, God, he's just asked me a million times for a reading that I already gave. So, and for the person getting the reading, they won't ever know because there's no name tied to it. Anyway, okay, back to you, Pat. Reading, please, number 3. Okay, Pat. All right, Pat, let's see what the cards have for you for today. And actually, I think this one came up already. All right, so that's your card. Pat, I'm getting the impression that you had a really good day today. I feel like you completed something, that something good came in. I feel like your energy is kind of flying a little bit high. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. I hope with this thing that you have had a lot of gratitude about it, because that would, as they say, when you have gratitude, it tells the universe that you can get more of it. you know, and kind of breathe. You know, I'm big on the breathing today, but like breathe in that joy and breathe in that excitement because your energy just seems like it's in a really high vibration today. So good job. I don't know what you're doing, but good job. Okay, so RLCC. Okay, so I don't. Devon, the divine solar child, says, love, harmony, and peace upon the chosen ones, empath, and light workers worldwide. Okay. RLCC said, thanks for the reading, Dr. Rita. Have about 3 things going on. I will have to sort that out. Okay. So Julie said, yes, it's a constant battle. True. Be stable in me. Yes, ma'am. And then she says, thank you. Yes, resonates. Okay, Julie, great. Okay, so I guess Devon, the Devon solar child, is a spammer and wants you to like send her money because it's free to send her money. Okay, so here's another one of these. I'd like a reading. Thank you. Okay, why do I keep saying, well, because I'm dyslexic. ERRT radio would like a reading, and he would like number 3. Uh-oh. Mask card. Well, this is interesting. This is the exact same card that came up for Dawn, I think. Like, same combination. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so one of the things that I'm noticing is that there's just a lot of push energy in your space right now. Your 3rd chakra is really activated, and you're trying to make things happen. You know, so it's different than dealing with stupid people where you have to sit there and follow up on them 50 times. This is something that's yours and your creation. And versus allowing things to come to you, to have them flow. And I feel like that, I'm just saying this, I'm trying not to like say it in an insulting way, but you know, but it's kind of almost like your ego is making you move forward because it thinks, okay, not saying you think, but it thinks that this is what I'm supposed to be doing in order to move forward. And I would like for you to maybe take a step back and check in with whatever that drive is and separate out, is this me being passionate or is this my ego pushing me forward? Because there's a really big energetic difference between being driven forward with the passion of spirit and the fire of passion versus the ego being the slave driver going, you got to do this, you got to do this. And sometimes it's a hard one to separate out. So, okay. Debbie say, cool, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. My email seems to be like going crazy. Cindy, and I muted it. So Cindy says, yes, thank you so very much, Dr. Rita. You are so welcome. Okay. All right. So the response to my question was from ERRT Radio on ERRT YouTube channel. Okay. So if people want to get readings, they need to go to my channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. I don't mean to be insulting to ERRT Radio. But that's Just Energy Radio because there is no way for me to decipher those questions that are coming in. Okay. Veronica says that was really encouraging. Okay, girl. Okay, Amy says the reading was exactly the reinforcement I need. Tip is in the jar. Thank you, Amy. I love you. So Pat says, surprising. We went to a funeral for a past coworker husband, but not get to visit with other past coworkers as well. So I'm hoping that that's a good thing. I'm not really sure. Okay, well, and then ERRT Radio says, well, thank you. That makes sense, Dr. Rita. Well, you are so welcome, and I hope that helps you move forward. Well, that's the last comment that's going on, and I'm a little late, but it's been a long day for me. So again, if you have been finding value in the show or the reading that you get, I would really love for you to like send me a little something, something. You can use the QR code or go to soulhealer.com/live and use that there. I mean, they both take it to the same place. And as always, if you have questions that are bigger and deeper, other than the very general readings that I'm doing here, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a time for a private consultation. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So till next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. We will be back talking reptilians next week. Till then, be blessed.